Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for coming. We are about to start another OTT. Today's topic is about Figma libraries and how to use it, right? So today it was supposed to be Rody talking, but he was unable to come, so I'm here to replace him. But well, it's mostly his work, this presentation. Okay, just a little reminder before we start. This is not a tutorial. It is just a way to show you guys how we do those things in the case you might want to try it at home or by yourself. Because I know that it's fun to play with Figma, and sometimes we want to start creating some ideas or outside projects, and that's the main goal here, to show you best practices and then show how we do stuff, right? So Figma is the collaboration tool we use to create prototypes, create frames, and mock-ups and wireframes, and basically where we design everything. It's the best tool for collaboration and receiving feedback also from the client, because it's all online and there's no need to install anything on your computer. But the libraries, of course, they are also Figma files, but the specific thing about libraries is where we use to store the components. I think it's pretty similar to the ones you guys use on development. And the thing about the libraries is that it's a single source of truth about design. And also it's easier to keep everything updated and everything published in the right way. The nice thing about libraries as well is that you can save a lot of time using it, because when you have any changes in your designs or anything that maybe the client wants, or maybe a technical specification, you change it right away, and it replicates all through your files with no problem. They are good as well for small projects, big projects, and especially when you have any kind of restrictions. For example, we are talking here about libraries that are already inside the Figma community. For example, we have the Material UI library, we have the native base, we have Bootstrap library, and I know those are all libraries that you guys also have in the front end ready to be used. And this is awesome when we have like a little time to do a project, or maybe the client already uses some of those libraries and we just need to keep going with the project. So those are good examples. And I'm going to quickly show you guys how we usually install it, how to use it to make your design. So imagining that you want to start a new project, right? And that you want to install it. So you go to the community and you search for a library. In this case, we are working with free libraries, right? For example, this is the Bootstrap. You can take a look before downloading the file on this part here. You can see the components, the foundations, everything you want, and that the library allows you to see. This is, for example, what happens if you search for material Y. And I'm using this second file, right? This is how it looks when you open, and I will just give you a little example. So I will open it in Figma, click it twice, select the account that I'm going to use. Oh, wait for the file to open. In this case, Material UI is a very big library, but as I'm using the free version, it has just a sample of the components it normally has, right? As it is just an example, we will keep this one. When you first get into the file, it will go to your drafts, but you want these to be inside your project. So in this case, I'm going to move to a project. Also, again, in this case, I already created a project for these OTT. I will move it. And now it will show up in the OTT project. The next step you need to do is get in the file and publish it as a library. If you don't do that, the components that are inside this library will only be valid for the file itself. It won't go through any other files or any projects that you have. You can also have a library shared through projects if you want. If that's the case, maybe in a bigger company where you have a single design system to use. But that's not our case. We just want it for this project, right? So I will go to assets and I will find this little book. In this book, I will say, I want to publish this library. That's the current file you are. So I'm publishing it. It will assemble, as it is a relatively small library, it will be fast. Okay. Publishing. Once it's done, what will you do? You will open up the project. Please publish. Okay, now it happened. You can get back to the project. Those are examples I'm going to show you later. You will create a file, probably rename it, whatever you want to do, and you will go back to the assets and say, oh, I want the material UI, this file here, to be my library. This is one example where the library is shared through across all the projects, but I want to turn this off and turn this one on. And then voila, everything will be here where you need it. And you can just create a frame and start designing, right? I want a button. I want whatever, a checkbox. I want a list of checkboxes, and then you can start designing. I'm going to jump to another file so we don't assemble all the example here. So this is the example with native base that I already assembled for you guys. So all of these are the instances of the components. It means they are tiles of these components. And if the designer has worked through it properly, everything you do will be will adjust to what you want. Let's say I want to create an example for iPhone SE, or I want, I don't know, an Android example, and it will adapt according to what you want. So let's imagine in this case that you have, I don't know, 1,000 screens, right? And I need to change the color or the shape of the button because now someone at the client side decided that we needed to have round buttons. I go to the library, find the buttons that are, let me find it. I think I'm already here. Oh, I'm here. So I'll grab the buttons. I'll grab all of them just in case. And I want all my buttons to be with round borders. Okay. Also, I want the foundation to make the title from another font. Say sale. Oh, no, I don't have sale. Another Roboto. Not different enough. I wanted to show you guys something else. Oh, red rose. I want all my titles to be red rose because that's a new design direction for the file. Great. Now for you guys to see the magic. So everything, it's square and with the old font, and I have 1,000 of frames and I need to change it right away. All I need to do is change things in the library, publish the changes in the library. It will take a little while or not to assemble. Let's see. The bigger the file and the bigger the library, every little change you made has influences across the other components if you build it right. And it will take a little longer to load. So that's why later we'll talk about best practices. Right. So, okay, it was published and you will receive a notification that something changed. You will review it. Sometimes you don't want to change it because it was a mistake or something happened, someone else moved some things in the file. But then I will update them and voila, everything now is different from what we did. And that's how we work with the libraries. So getting back to the presentation. Oh, that's how it works. Best practices. It's better to have the libraries separated from the design files, especially because when you start a file, it doesn't seem that it's going to be a big deal, but projects always grow. And so the bigger the file, the harder it is to load, the harder it is to change things. And if you don't build things correctly, you will end up with a headache at the end. We already worked with projects where we needed to do it in the non-best practice, and it took longer for us to work. It took a lot of hours to make any changes. So please keep your libraries updated, well constructed, if that's the case, if you're going to construct it, and well, separated from the main design file. So about limitations of it, well, these are ready libraries. You are just going to import it and that's it. The limitation is that when you need to create a library from scratch, because that's a project requirement, you need to have a different layout from everything else. So it will take you longer to build the library, but it probably will worth it, right? Another thing is that if the library you construct or that you import, right, is not well constructed, is not very atomic design or well taught how things are built, it might also give you a lot of work to update the components if you need, right? So those are very little limitations in my opinion, because of course, when you have more experience or when you know how to curate your libraries, you don't have those kinds of problems, right? And if you buy a library from big library like Material UI, for example, probably it's well built, right? Conclusion: it's a very time-saving thing that you should use in all your work, and well, I don't know how to work without libraries, honestly. I got so used to it that I don't even imagine my life without it. So, but that's it. Happy Friday. You guys have any questions? Thank you.
Great, awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to add something. Some of those purchased libraries, you have them like you have the base library that is going to be, I don't know, Material UI, and then they place us another layer of design into these libraries and create a new one. So one of those cases is minimal CC, so minimals .cc, it's on the chat. If you want, you can show them. And that's it.
Let me check. Minimal CC. Oh, yeah, that's also another thing, right? There is this possibility that you buy a library and stylish based on what you want, or in this case, what they already did, right?
Yeah,
but the base of the component and the base of the code is still Material UI.
In this case, they create new components for, I don't know, pricing and a lot of examples of how to use the, I don't know, maybe these data and some examples of I don't know, already designed elements. So it's a little bit more complete, but it also uses Material UI as a default. So it's nice to have something like this as well.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else?